With how big the first Scream was, it's no surprise that they wanted to get the ball rolling and make a sequel to that movie. But nobody thought it would happen as fast as it did. Just 3 months after the first Scream released, they were already greenlighting the sequel, and then 3 months later, production started, and by the end of 1997, Ghostface was slashing his way back into theaters. In this one, Sidney and Randy are in college at Windsor College in Ohio. It's a fictional school in a fictional city, I believe. When Ghostface decides to show up and he starts killing people again. Great. Nice. We get some new faces, we get some old faces, we get a lot of new kills, and a lot of sequel talk. What's going on, everybody? This is week 2 of the Scream-A-Thon, and this week we're going to cover the follow-up to that classic 1996 slasher film. We're going to talk about Scream 2 today. Buckle in, and let's get screaming. That was bad. So we open the movie with Phil and Maureen, couple played by Omar Epps, Jada Pinkett. They're going to a movie. This movie is called Stab. Get used to this name. Stab is basically the in-universe movie based on the book that Gail wrote about the Woodsboro murders. So this is effectively just a movie about the Woodsboro murders. Not shot for shot accurate, but it's damn near close. They sensationalize it a little bit, which is a commentary on itself. Scream is actually loosely based on the Gainesville Ripper. I know a lot of people probably know that, but if you don't, it is loosely based on the real serial killer, the Gainesville Ripper. Having a movie based on a movie, or having a movie inside of a movie based on real life. Sit with that. One shot they have in Stab is Casey like taking her clothes off and she's about to take a shower. Didn't happen, and she's making popcorn. So I don't know if she just expected that was gonna take the entire length of her shower or what, but don't do that, kids. You're gonna burn your house down. They're handing out Ghostface costumes and knives. They're glow-in-the-dark knives at this screening. Crazy, first of all. Studios are not paying for that shit nowadays. It's $80 for a popcorn bucket. You think they're gonna give us a free costume? And this screening is absolutely insane. Everybody's just running around. There's people just running around in front of the screen, fake stabbing each other. It's going nuts, and unfortunately, Maureen is not any better.
Bitch, hang the phone up and star 69 his ass. Damn! Who is this?
Phil goes to the Phil goes to Phil goes to use the bathroom when Maureen's coming back from getting popcorn. While he's in the bathroom, he hears some weird whispering in the stall next to him. First of all, he's pissing with the stall door open, which I guess you could do, but I'm not doing it. He hears some whispering in the stall next door, and he decides that it's a good idea to lean his ear up to it and try to listen. I'm also not doing that.
Mommy, listen, mommy.
And because of his stupidity, he gets a knife through the mouth. I don't know how Ghostface knew where to stab, but he did. R.I.P. Phil. He just bleeds out on the bathroom floor. And then Ghostface takes his jacket. I don't know what he did with the body or the blood or any of that. So hopefully the poor movie theater employees don't have to figure that out. Is this even plugged in? Bro, you gotta be shitting me. Yo, no shot, right? Okay, so that sucked. I forgot to, I don't know, it just wasn't plugged in all the way, I guess. So bear with the audio for that first half. I'm not re-recording it. It's not gonna happen. So you can hear me. That's all that matters. But you're gonna hear me better now. Anyways, like I said, R.I.P. Phil. Ghostface puts on his jacket, and then Maureen figures it out once she feels the blood on him, that it's not Phil. And then stab. Maureen's dead. She screams in front of the screen. I think it's crazy that some of these Ghostface are cheering her on, or cheering it on, because they think it's just a stunt, I guess. And yeah, so you have a bunch of people just cheering for this lady getting stabbed in the gut over and over and over. Ghostface has a lot more boldness. He just kind of does a lot of shit out in the open and then walks away. Them cheering everything on just kind of fits the overall theme of this movie, I guess overall the Scream franchise, but this movie, just the connection between violence and media, specifically movies. But this has been a debate with video games, music, all that shit. It's a big talking point every couple of years with the media, with just news and trying to portray stuff as bad for kids, whatever. Real shit though, I've been in some insane, like crazy theater crowds. I was at fucking Endgame, No Way Home, the big Marvel shit. This is some obnoxious theater etiquette if I've ever seen it before. After the opening kills, we move back to Sidney, getting some prank calls, kind of getting harassed because obviously this is bringing some attention to her, being it's a killing at a movie based on your life. She moved all the way out to Ohio to get away from that, and now it's coming back to her. Meet her new roommate, Hallie, to report about the killings. There's some Cotton Weary appearances. At this point, Sidney doesn't really think it's related to her outside of being at a movie about her life. Doesn't really think nothing of it. She, kind of gets a little spooked, but nothing too crazy. She goes to grab Randy. We see Randy in his film class. We meet some characters that are going to become important. Mickey, played by Timothy Oliphant, and then Cece, played by another Scooby-Doo alumni, Sarah Michelle Gellar, of Buffy fame, of a lot of shit. I Know What You Did Last Summer. She's in a lot of stuff. Obviously, Mickey's just a part of the friend group. Cece's a sorority sister that we see later. There's just some sequel banter, saying how sequels are just not as good as the originals. Randy incorrectly corrects somebody.
Get away from her, you bitch. I believe the line is stay away from her, you bitch. It's film class, right?
Get away from her, you bitch!
This brings back up the do movies influence real world violence? You can kind of see how it's affecting the school. One of the girls is like, hey, no, this girl got stabbed a bunch. We need to take this serious.
It's not a hypothetical. It's not about art. I had biology with that girl. This is reality.
Spoiler alert, killers. I'm just gonna tell you now. Mickey, I don't even know his last name. Debbie Salt, Billy's mom, put in the Mickey shit.
Billy's mother.
It's just kind of weird for Mickey to be talking about all this stuff when he's the one who was slicing the dice. Sid kind of feels shaken. She pulls Randy out of class. It's like, hey, you think this has anything to do with us? Randy is talking in a unscripted British accent.
It's starting again, Randy.
It's not. A lot of shit happens at the movies. People get robbed, shot, maimed, murdered. Multiplex is just a very dangerous place to be.
Zaps any seriousness out of it for Sidney. I like Randy, so cool. We get introduced to Derek. Derek's her new boyfriend. Obviously real sus off rip. Randy just fucking Randy, man.
Can we just go back to our pseudo quasi happy existence? Hello, Derek. How you doing? Hey, Sid. I've been looking.
So there's a couple red herrings in this movie. Derek is a red herring. Obviously, I said the killer, so Derek's a red herring. And then Cotton Weary's a red herring. Both of them get pushed pretty hard. The Derek one gets pushed a lot. Cotton Weary does a lot of like stuff that would kind of make him seem sus. Derek just gets a lot of like push-ins on his face where he's like looking a little funny at Sidney. He has some situational when he gets cut, and then like, it looks to us that he got cut where no vital stuff was. But
there's Derek, the obvious boyfriend. Hello, Billy Loomis. The guy's pre-med and his pity me surface wound conveniently missed every major vein and artery.
It just actually happened that way. The movie wants us to suss out Derek, so I guess good job. Gail's back. She's on the scene of some murders. She got new cameraman Joel, who one of the realest people in this universe. He gets the fuck out of there later on. She meets Debbie Salt. She's just as bitchy as she's ever been. She's just got a successful movie on her hands, or book turned movie on her hands. She meets Debbie Salt, like I said. We get that introduction to her. Just a fake reporter who bothers Gail a lot throughout the movie. Later on, she mentions that Sidney's dad is out of the country, which is also kind of sus. Cops think it's not related. There's no serial killer. Cops think it's an isolated incident. Gail kind of pushes back on that, but that's just what reporters do. While that's going on, some sorority sisters from Delta Lambda Zeta, so Delta Lambdas, they come up to her. They're trying to recruit her, come to a party, whatever. Sidney's not down for the sorority stuff. She ends up seeing Dewey. Deputy Dewey's back on the scene. Let's go. He comes just to check in on him after all the murders, or after the 2 murders. So he's hanging around to make sure Sidney's good. He's a pretty good line where he says, like, Sid, if Ghostface really is back and he's after you, there's a good chance that killer's already in your circle. Whoever it is, they're already close to you. It's kind of the sick part of it. Sidney is obviously kind of shaken by this, but She's Sidney Prescott. She'll handle that fucker just like she did the last time. Sidney goes back to her friend group. Mickey mentions that Maureen was stabbed 7 times. Obviously you would know, god damn it. And then Gail kind of just drops a bombshell on Sidney. She brings Cotton Weary in there and is just trying to like spring a apologetic interview from both sides onto Sidney. Doesn't go well. She gets fucking slapped again.
Bitch. Oh, Sidney, share with us, please.
I guess she got punched the first time, but she gets slapped this time. Cotton didn't realize that Gail didn't tell Sidney, so he kind of feels bad. Cotton's is really good in this movie. Shout out Liev Schreiber. He does a really good job at actually making Cotton like a character, not just someone you see on a fucking newscast, or like a plot point, I guess. He's kind of upset about it. He really just wants like some exposure off of this. He wants to kind of benefit from that year he spent in prison and the year that he was falsely accused of raping and murdering somebody. Now we got Gooey reunited. I hate that name, but I love it at the same time. Gail and Dewey meet back up. Dewey is not too happy. One, she's bothering Sid again. She's back trying to get a story. And 2, he read her book and she said some not nice things about him.
Page 41. Deputy Dewey oozed with inexperience.
He's even so hurt that like Gail goes to reach and like touch him, like his face, and he like flinches away. I think he just thinks it's manipulation. But anyways, this whole scene, Dewey's using big words. He's articulating himself very well.
To imply.
How do you know that my dim-witted inexperience isn't merely a subtle form of manipulation used to lower people's expectations, thereby enhancing my ability to effectively maneuver within any given situation?
I think he's just kind of trying to prove her wrong, I guess. Another reason that David Arquette is so good as Dewey. We do see he kind of has a walk issue, like some nerve damage from being stabbed in the back. His arm's kind of up at his side. We just get more and more funny deliveries from David Arquette, man. He's really good as Dewey. I'm going to say that a lot.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some oozing to do.
Switch on over to the Omega Beta Zeta house. We've seen Cece she's basically being an on-call designated driver, sober sister.
I'm sober, sister. I need to be here in case a drunk sister calls and needs a ride. That's too bad. Drink with your brain. That's our motto. Who are you calling for?
Or there's a shot of Ghostface kind of stalking, where like it's a POV of Ghostface kind of creeping, and this is while he's on the phone, so I'm assuming this is the other one obviously calling while he's in the house, or while Ghostface is in the house. Apparently she wasn't actually alone in the house. She has one of her sisters there, but while that door is open, when she went outside to check, Ghostface sneaks in, and you see this all. You see him sneak in, and it kind of adds to like this whole next suspenseful part where you know that Ghostface is in the house and you know he's gonna pop out, but there's so many different spots where he could. There's so many different times where you think he could. There's so many risers, some cues and stuff. And it builds the anxiety in you. Eventually, Ghostface gets a hold of Cece. He chases her up like 6 flights of stairs. It feels like there's a lot of stairs in that house. He catches up, stabby stab, throws her over the balcony. R.I.P. Daphne. Come back to the Delta Lambda Zeta party, where Sidney's at with Mickey, Hallie, Derek, all them. Everybody figures out about Cece, runs, they all leave for the most part. And while that's happening, Derek takes Sidney home to get changed. There's another scene, some more coldness of Dewey towards Gail. I like that Dewey doesn't fold at any point. There's like one more scene where he stands his ground and is like real hurt about it. Make sure that she knows. It could have been real easy for them to just have one argument and then get back together, but that's not what happens. They kind of build it up a little bit. They still end up together at the end of the movie, but they build it up a little bit better than just one fight and then they're together. Sidney realizes this is happening again because obviously this is more direct towards her. They're at the house, or Derek and Sidney are at Sidney's house.
She's getting changed, and she gets attacked by Ghostface while Derek's outside. Some fighting goes on. This is the first time we get to see Ghostface talk with the voice changer in real life, like he's using it.
Then why don't you show your face, you fucking coward?
My pleasure.
I know it's a movie, and I don't really care that much, but that voice changer does not work. I promise you. To be able to, like, mask your voice, you'd have to whisper, and the way that voice comes out, that's not whispering. You probably couldn't even mask it with the whisper. I don't care if you have a fucking mask on, that's not masking your voice. Like, that voice changer's not doing shit in real life. All the shitty voice changers that they sell don't do anything. That has to be a real good voice changer for 1997. Derek goes in after Sid gets out, tries to find Ghostface. Ghostface gets away easily, apparently. Derek's just left with a cut on the arm. Dewey shows up. Obviously, Derek's been attacked, so they take him to the hospital. But everybody's a little sus of him because, as one points out, why would you go in that house? Or Mickey points out, why would you go in that house? And then the doctors, Dewey, just some people kind of point out, like, hey, you're lucky that none of your vital arteries or veins or nerves were hit. It's just a flesh wound, basically. And Dewey's kind of like, yeah, that's convenient that he got away so easily and you only ended up with a cut on your arm. As we've seen, you can get cut. You can, Ghostface will do what he needs to do to exonerate one of them. So obviously you could just have the other Ghostface cut you not too bad, kind of get you out of the light as a suspect. But everybody picks up on that, so people are still sus of Derek. Ghostface getting away easily obviously alerts Dewey a little bit. And when he calls Derek out on some of this stuff, Derek rightfully says, hey, you showed up right after Ghostface left, so you could be a killer too. Why I brought that up is I just want to mention, like, I'm glad they never make any of the big three of Sidney, Gale, Dewey a killer as Ghostface. I mean, in any of these movies. I know that's also a fan theory. Like, every time a new Scream comes out, they're like, hey, it's gonna be Sidney this time. It's not gonna be Sidney this time. And I'm glad they don't do that, because that would suck. Not gonna elaborate. With the help of Gale and Dewey, police figure out these killings are basically killing people that have the same names as the people killed in Woodsboro. Phil Stevens, Stephen Orth, that's Casey's boyfriend, the one that was killed first. Maureen Evans, obviously Maureen Prescott. Or I guess they were killed out of order. But Maureen Evans, Maureen Prescott, obviously. And then Cece, we find out her real name is Casey Cooper. So Casey Becker. They basically say, hey, I think Ghostface is trying to make a sequel. Sidney tells Derek, hey, you should stay away. I don't want you to get hurt. Definitely not for any other reason. After another Gale and Dewey interaction goes sour, Debbie Salt mentions about the thing about Neil Prescott, and even kind of brings up Dewey as a suspect because he just shows up, because obviously if the Woodsboro murders are being recreated, it could be somebody from Woodsboro. Thing I really like here, and later when Randy is bringing up Gale as a suspect, whenever anybody tries to say that Gale or Dewey's the killer, the other one always defends them, even if they're not on good terms. Here comes probably the most hated scene in the movie, a scene that everybody kind of doesn't like, the cafeteria love song scene. Derek's a bit hurt by Sidney wanting some space, wanting to distance herself, so he just decides, yeah, I'm going to dance around on the tables and break out a song. The song he sings is I Think I Love You by Lesser Than Jake. Fun fact, Lesser Than Jake is actually from Gainesville, Florida. The band is from Gainesville, which, like I said earlier, Gainesville Ripper, so it's just kind of cool. I didn't really like the scene, I guess. I didn't hate it, though. He's not a good singer at all. I don't really think he's singing. He's kind of just talking. It's just kind of endearing. It's not really doing too much for me, but, like, it's a little fun. It's a little charming moment for Derek to have with Sidney. He gives up his letters to Sidney, which is kind of like, I think they mentioned this, kind of like a rite of passage. It's a big no-no. You're not supposed to do that, but he does it. It just kind of shows to Sidney that he's really about that. Jumping over to the next scene, we find out that Tori Spelling actually did end up playing Sidney Prescott, which I don't think she's going to be too happy about that. This is where we get Randy's rule scene for the movie. I'm just going to let him tell him this time.
The body count is always bigger. Number 2, the death scenes are always much more elaborate. More blood, more gore. Carnage, candy. Your core audience just expects it. And number 3, if you want your sequel to become a franchise, never, ever...
How do we find the killer, Randy? That's what I want to know.
Dewey kind of cuts him off and is just like, hey, trying to figure out who's doing this shit. Randy brings up some people. They bring up each other. Yeah.
Let's not move on. Maybe you are a suspect.
Well, if I'm a suspect, you're a suspect.
Do you have a point?
Randy calls himself
The unrequited love slave of Sidney Prescott. I know all about obsession.
I don't know why you would admit that, but I just wanted to bring it up. After a conversation with her director in the play about wanting to back out, she gets attacked by Ghostface at a rehearsal. They make sure to set up all the stage design and stage set and like props that can move and fall and stuff. That'll be for later, but they set that up now. After Sidney gets attacked, we learn about the kind of buddy system that they're using to protect Sid. Either Mickey or Derek. I think in a deleted scene, Mickey, Derek, and Hallie are the ones doing it, but that wasn't in the movie, so we just know Mickey and Derek. And Derek comes up and is like, yo, Sidney, are you good? And she freaks out because she doesn't realize that Derek's supposed to be there because Mickey was doing it. But Derek said that Mickey and him swapped, which makes sense. Mickey has kind of pointed at Derek whenever like he's not around. Mickey kind of points fingers towards Derek. He does that throughout the movie. And this would be an easy way to point the finger at Derek because she doesn't know he's supposed to be there. So for all she knows, he just showed up after he attacked her. And this also frees up Mickey to do the attacking. So he's kind of setting Derek up while also getting himself out of it. So yeah. But this is where Sidney for real needs some space from Derek. So they kind of split up a little bit. Loosely split up. Now we go back to the campus. It looks like a campus common area. Joel is reasonably worried.
Now, I'm warning you guys, I am a verb away from vacating these premises. I'm gonna go get me some coffee, donuts, Prozac, see if I can find some crack, Special K, X, not Malcolm, and I'll be back when you guys start talking about something a little more saved by the bellish, alright?
Gail and Randy, they get a call from Ghostface.
Fuck you!
It's supposed to be for Gail, but Randy picked it up. The killer says that he can see him, so naturally Dewey and Gail decide to go and harass everybody who's on the phone in that area.
Sorry.
After shit-talking Billy Loomis, Ghostface springs from Gail's news van and he drags Randy inside. Due to an unfortunately timed boombox, Randy's struggle cannot be heard, and then the killer just kind of takes his mask off, gets out, and walks away. Besides a certain death in Scream 5, this is probably the most unpopular death in the franchise. Randy was just a fan favorite, and I'm glad that he recorded some tapes to be present in the Scream 3. In the library, Sid gets like a threatening message towards her, and since she's not logged in, this obviously has to be in the library. The people that are supposed to be protecting her just kind of put her by an exit, which, okay. And then Cotton untimely shows himself, which, not great. He's kind of intimidating. He kind of gets too touchy with Sid. They even teased the boots. They arrested him for, being a little bit sus. Why are you there? He just wants his Diane Sawyer interview. They're deciding that, hey, we got to move Sidney to a safe space. So they're taking her somewhere remote, I guess. Gail goes off on Debbie Salt. And Joel finally says, fuck it, I'm out of here.
I need you.
No, you need to have your head examined.
Again, reasonable. Once that happens, Dewey kind of realizes, hey, Gail's really about this shit. She wants to help out. They're back good. Gail mentions that like Joel had recorded crowd footage and Ghostface has been, doing the shit out in crowds and stuff. There should be Ghostface in something. We get their next adventure. They're roaming around the school, looking for VCR so that they can watch the tape, run that back. They find something. They almost fuck like on the table, I guess. I don't know. Start noticing, hey, there's some footage being played that's not our footage. which is Ghostface playing the footage that he was taking of the victims on the nights that they were killed. We could assume one was, like, during the CC kill, we could assume one was calling, one was recording, but a lot of this stuff, it's just their footage. And Ghostface shows himself. Dewey takes a tumble down the stairs. Gail gets locked in this, like, recording booth room where you can't hear anything that's going on outside. This is after Gail and Dewey get separated. Once Dewey finds Gail, he's, like, trying to get her attention through the window, and he can't. Ghostface shows up and starts stabbing Dewey, and he finally gets a hold of her through the mic, and she has to turn around and see her man getting stabbed again, and at this point we just assume Dewey's dead because he got stabbed a good amount of times. Eventually Ghostface comes for Gail. She beats him on that. He's trying to get in, but he doesn't, and then he just leaves. I don't know how long I would stay in there after he left before I would feel comfortable enough leaving that room, but it would probably be a couple days. I don't know why Ghostface really freaked me out in this scene specifically. I don't know, but his mannerisms and the way he was kind of like frantically moving around trying to break in just freaked me the fuck out. Dewey definitely should have died here, but I think killing off 2 OGs would be a bit rough and a hard sell, so I get why they didn't do it. After this, Derek gets kidnapped by his frat members for giving up his letters. Like I said, a no-no. You're not supposed to do that. So that kind of sets up where he ends in the final showdown. But he just basically gets hung in a T position to this, like, prop for the play where it comes down and he's, like, hanging on it basically. And they're just spraying him with stuff. I think they, like, whip him or brand him or something, because, like, later on you see he has almost, like, they almost look like burn marks on him. So I don't know if they burned him, like, branded him or what, but they fucked him up. I don't know if those marks came from his fraternity or Ghostface. I guess that's a possibility too. They're taking Sidney to their safe space. It's the 2 guards and Sidney and Hallie, and Ghostface finds them pretty quickly and pretty easily, actually. I'm assuming it's just through Mickey, but yeah, he finds them quick. One of the guards is just straight up throat slit, and then the other one kind of puts up a fight. He gets, like, some punches and he gets beat up, but he ends up getting on the hood of the car. So Ghostface is, like, driving. The dude's trying to shoot him, I guess, and he's driving, and then Ghostface crashes so that he can get the dude off the hood, but it basically sends a pole straight through the dude's head. Probably the gnarliest kill in the movie, so we got that. This knocks Ghostface out, and we get, like, a super tense scene where Sidney has to climb over Ghostface because all the doors are blocked, and on one side, on the other side, that's where they got to get out. First of all, I'm taking that mask off. If I have to stab him first and then take the mask off, I'm doing it. Ghostface is not leaving that car until I know who it is. My personal opinion would be, hey, stab him with something and then take his mask off instead of just doing it while he's still asleep, because then, you know, obviously, I think Ghostface wasn't knocked out for any of that. I think he was just kind of letting him do it, because no way, one, the horn didn't wake him up, none of that woke him up. I don't believe it, because when Sidney gets out, she helps Hallie get out. They run away, and Sidney's like, hey, I gotta go back. I'm not running anymore. I want to see who did it. And when she goes back to the car, Ghostface is gone, which is why I think that he wasn't actually knocked out, because he got out way too fast. Don't know how he got out without them realizing, because as we acknowledged, the 2 doors on the one side were blocked in, and the other 2 doors, they would have been paying attention to hearing them open or him climbing out the window or something. So I don't know how he got out. Don't know the logistics of that. But anyways, he shows up behind Hallie, stabs her sometimes. R.I.P. Hallie. Fun fact, in the script originally, before all the leaks, because this movie was riddled with leaks and script leaks and stuff like that, Hallie was supposed to be one of the killers. So cool. And Gail's running out of that building, presumably days later, because that's how long I'd be in there. She runs into Cotton, who has another, oh my god, he has the worst timing. Not only does he show up after Sidney gets threatened on a computer, he shows up bloody right after Gail was attacked by Ghostface, and Dewey was attacked by Ghostface. He just says he found Dewey, which we learn later, yeah, he just found Dewey. She freaks out. She goes out to call the police, and Debbie Salt's on the phone, or Debbie Salt's by the phone, and she's trying to talk to Gail, but Gail's like, I gotta call the police. This is where we kind of get into the final everything. Sidney goes into the theater. I don't necessarily know why she went into the theater, but she went into the theater. Ghostface is fucking with her. She gets him on stage. They got the spotlight following her and stuff. Just overall fucking with Sidney. He drops all the walls so that she can't leave, and then drops down Derek. Derek's still strung up to that thing. This is where he has all the marks, and like his mouth is duct taped and he's tied up, everything. I don't know how much that Ghostface did to him, how much the fraternity did to him, but this is where Mickey walks in and reveals himself. He has the Ghostface stuff on. He takes it off, and then he's basically talking to Sidney like Derek is the other Ghostface, like trying to even frame him in his last moments. It's causing Sidney to second guess everything. Then Mickey just goes ahead, shoots him, and then tells Sidney, yeah, he was innocent. He was a good kid, whatever. Mickey does this insane act, and he's not good at it.
You had a partner, Sid. Surprise cameo just for you.
I liked him through the first parts of the movie, but as soon as he became like the psycho Stu type of character, he lost me. I don't know if Timothy Olyphant just isn't good at that, or if it just doesn't work for me personally.
Didn't see it coming, did ya?
It doesn't, so don't really like him as a killer. But anyways, let's get back to like the actual stuff. When she's about to untie Derek and he's like telling her all this stuff about it, like lying basically, you can really see like Sidney like, damn, do I want to let him go? Do I want to free him? Because this is the same thing Billy did. You know, he got attacked, fake attacked, and then got the gun from her. Derek gets attacked, gets untied. You never know, maybe he is the killer. So
A doctor. This was just the kind of boy you'd like to take home to mom, if you had a mom. Fuck you!
I get what Sidney's hesitancy is for. Mickey basically has this whole plan where his defense is going to be blaming the movies. The movies made me do it. I don't know how that's going to hold up in court. He just wants to basically become the next O.J. Simpson. Then he gets some badass lines and she starts kicking his ass.
Yeah? Well, you're forgetting one thing about Billy Loomis.
What's that?
I fucking killed him.
But then we get the reveal of the second killer. They tease Gail. She walks in the door first, but then Debbie Saw walks in, and Sidney recognizes it as
Billy's mother.
Miss Loomis, Billy's mom. She says like 60 pounds in a makeover. Okay, I guess. Basically, Miss Loomis and Mickey met online. She was trying to find a serial killer to pay for their college so that they could get close to Sidney, and she could get revenge. Her plan is to frame Sidney and Mickey as killing each other in a gunfight, and then blaming everything on Mickey running off into the wind because Debbie Salt doesn't exist. She shoots Mickey. Cool, Mickey's dead, whatever. We really see where Billy gets his fucking crazy from. She's the better killer in this movie. She doesn't do as much legwork, I don't think, but she's just a better crazy actor. I think she's really good at being psycho.
Billy? No, Billy was a good boy. Billy was perfect. You did a bang-up job, Mrs. Loomis. Not wise to patronize me with a gun, Sidney.
Her motivation is dog shit. Like, obviously, yeah, you want revenge for your son, but your son is a psychopathic murderer who killed a bunch of kids, basically. So I don't really feel bad for you. Sidney gets free. She runs around, and is like basically using the set to her advantage to beat up Miss Loomis. She's like making lights go out and fall. She's like making the rocks tumble. She collapses stuff on her. The rocks all collapse on her. She thinks everything's good. Miss Loomis gets back up. She's just chasing Sidney with a knife, trying to kill her. And then Cotton Weary shows up again. He's had bad timing all the other times, but he's pretty good timing here.
Sidney?
Cotton, meet Billy Loomis's mother. She's the killer.
What?
He's getting held at like knife point, and Cotton has a gun. Because earlier, I forgot to mention, but earlier, Miss Loomis shot Gail, and she fell off the side of the stage. Cotton gets the gun from when Sidney knocked it out of Miss Loomis' hand. He's basically holding her at gunpoint, holding both of them at gunpoint, while Miss Loomis has Sidney at knife point, and eventually, after agreeing to a Diane Sawyer interview,
Consider it done.
he shoots Miss Loomis. She falls back. She makes this really ugly dead face. Cotton has some really well-timed lines in this scene.
Was intense.
Go to like make sure that Miss Loomis is dead. Gail comes up, grabs his hand, kind of scares the shit out of Cotton. She says the bullet bounced off her ribs, which, holy shit, okay. Mickey gets up, he does the final scare, you know, tries to get up, and Gail and Sidney just fucking unload into him, bro. He's dead. Sidney has to get her final bullet in the Nancy Loomis's. I think it's not mentioned her name is Nancy Loomis, but from what I heard in the script, she's named Nancy Loomis at one point, so I'm just gonna call her Nancy Loomis. Puts a bullet in her head, and the Ghostfaces are dead. Everything comes out. Joel comes back, I guess, for some reason. He's like, yeah, the Ghostfaces are dead, I'm back, baby. He comes out on a stretcher. They say that he's alive, so somehow he survived that, but basically they kind of have an offhand line of he survived because of some scar tissue from the first time he got stabbed. So I guess it makes sense. He's alive. He has his time. Don't worry. The movie finishes with the soundtrack banging and Sidney walking off alone. Kind of a sad thing to see. All of her college friends are either dead or dead. My overall thoughts on this movie, I liked it way more than I remembered. The only real complaint I have with it, besides some of the logic stuff, is Mickey kind of sucking as a psychopath. But other than that, I really liked it. I don't think I like it more than the first one, although I do think I had more fun with it than the first one. The first one's obviously a classic, but I really like this one as well. So I'm excited to see how we progress with my opinions on these movies. Next week is the third movie, Scream 3. I don't like that one, but I'm going to give it a chance and hope that I like it more this time. The motivation on Miss Loomis was iffy, but I liked her as a killer. Sidney obviously was good as ever. We get some good stuff from Dale and Gooey. I just called him Dale and Gooey. Gale and Dewey. It's also kind of crazy how good this movie is for being basically shit out in a year. It's a shock that this movie was as good as it was. But I'm not complaining. So appreciate you guys watching this. I will see you guys next week to cover Scream 3. Other than that, man, keep it cool and don't get stabbed. Thanks.